Alright, e-bikers, this is the Sohamo H3. It's a new budget e-bike that the company sent to me. And it's a pretty good looking package for what you get here. Now, this is kind of a DIY assembly required e-bike, right? So this thing had the most pieces I've ever had to assemble on an e-bike out of the box. So let's start with what you got to put on this thing. You have to, let's start up front here. So with the front, you got to put on the front wheel, and you got to put on the front brake rotor, which is not installed. And of course both fenders actually. When it came out of the box, the only thing on the bike was the rear wheel, the electronics, and the battery, essentially. Everything else you see, I had to basically install, including the handlebar stem here. This folding stem was not in there, so there's a quill stem on there. You got to insert that, make sure it's at the right angle, pointed this way. And then you had to put the handlebars on as well. They're up there on the front. What else? You had to put on the seat post and the seat. It was not attached to the seat post like it normally might be. So they're saving some money here in the assembly process, I'm assuming, which is why this bike is so cheap. I'll get to the price in a minute. You had to put the pedals on too. These are folding pedals. Hard to do with one hand, but there you go. The battery was installed already. You have to plug it in here. The rack had to be installed, the rear fender, and you got to plug in the brake light, which is right here. What else? Am I missing anything else? The chain ring was on, of course, and the front light as well. Once you put the fender on too. So that's what you got to do to install this thing. So a little bit of work. Probably take you about an hour if you've never done it before. In terms of that, so just keep that in mind. All right, this is the cheap e-bike. Now it comes in two flavors, 15 amp hour and a 20 amp hour. That is a 20 amp hour battery there on the back. For the price of $9.99, if you want the 15 amp hour, $7.99 is that price. So that's a pretty good deal. 48 volt, 20 amp hour for $9.99. That's definitely electric XP competitor there. Also kind of similar to the if you get the 15 amp hour, that Z-Cool I just had on the channel. That's a 15 amp hour as well, I believe. So yeah, you're seeing a lot of e-bike prices come down, and this is one of those e-bikes, the Sohamo H3. So let's see what else it has in terms of specs. So when it comes to the motor, we've got a Sohamo branded 750 watt back there. Yeah, 750 watt, peaks at 1100 watts, and it features 80 newton meters of torque. So pretty good motor there for the price. The controller, which is down housed in here, accessible from the other side, is a 22 amp controller, they say. 20 by 3 inch tires on this thing. I wish it had 20 by 4s because the fenders are pretty wide. But those are 20 by 3 inch tires. No name tire brand. I'm not sure what brand that is. They came fully inflated, so that was cool. Top speed is 28 miles an hour. And we have mechanical disc brakes on this e-bike. Here they are right here. So far they seem to stop well. I think the rotors are 160s. And there you go. We've got a front light and also a rear brake light as well. Try and get you a nice shot there, but both are included in the package. Here's a shot from this side. What else? The bike weighs 69 pounds and the payload capacity is about 300 pounds. That front fork over here, no lockout, doesn't look very good. It's probably one of the worst things about the bike is that front fork. It's probably gonna bottom out on me, and the seat post, I've tightened the screws here, but this seems to loosen up a little bit on the ride, so I got to go back and check that. But yeah, that's your weight, 69 pounds. That's with the battery included. Here's a look at the handlebar setup. We've got some nice locking grips here. They do give you a thumb throttle, which I do love. Actually, these are rubberized grips here, not locking. Your mechanical disc brakes, of course. Here's the LCD panel, very simple. You got a power button, and then the PS is just one button here. You have to basically go up, and it just reverses itself back to 0 if you keep going up. So just one button there. So pretty simple display. Just battery bars for the battery charge there, and really you get trip, and that's it. There's nothing else on here. You press the power button again, it turns the light on and off. On the right side, you got the Shimano SIS index shifter, 7 speeds on this e-bike, and that rounds out the cockpit. All right, guys, we're on this Sohamo H3 20x3 750 watt budget e-bike, and so far so good. We're gonna do a hill test, we'll do a top speed test, and then we'll close it out with my final thoughts, give you my likes and dislikes. So stay tuned, stick around. All right, let's do a throttle only top speed run here. Gonna verify the GPS speed. I did unlock this bike, by the way. We're at 20. It's 23, 22, so it's off by about 1 mile an hour, maybe 2. And going up slight incline here, so we're at 23. Let me turn the corner here. See if we can get a little bit more there. It's at 28. This bike has a lot of ghost pedaling, so I'm not going to bother pedaling. But I'm going to stop and try and see if I can boost the speed even more. Alright, I'm going to pull down a plus and minus here. There's P1, that's for kph to mph. P2 is the speed. So 37 it's at. Alright, let's see if I can increase that. Okay, it goes up to 60. Try that again. I'm back in that one. P2. Okay. So 60 was the cutoff. I'm assuming that's maybe kph. Should be 28 miles an hour, close to 28 miles an hour. Okay, there's 60. Hold down the power key. Okay, now it's at 60. Okay. It's gonna hold it down. Okay, reset. Let's try that again. I'm gonna put it in PS5 just in case. It's a small bike. I feel a little small on it being 6 foot. There's 23, 24, 23 on the GPS. No one's coming. Let's try this again. Yeah, we're not getting past 23 in this thing. No one's coming. Yeah, top's out 24 on that display, 23 here. So there's your top speed, guys. All right. Here goes our hill test, throttle only. Again, this is supposed to peak at 1100 watts, so I'm not sure it's quite as advertised, but I'm doing 9 miles an hour. Holding steady there. Like I said, there's so many trucks in my friggin' town, it's ridiculous. My neighborhood's getting repaved today again. They're doing the second layer. There's just lots of noise out there, and all you want to do is record. Alright, 14, gaining steam here. So far so good. Again, if this cracks like 9 going up this hill, a little disappointed, but let's see. Alright, here we go. 12, 11, 10, 9. Here comes 8. Don't go below 8. Stay above it. Oh, there's 7. Okay. There's 6. I'm helping out a little bit. Yeah. Alright, not too impressive. I mean, it is a budget e-bike, so I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Let's test these brakes out. Mechanical disc brakes, 160mm rotors. Coming down the hill here, 26, 27. Hit the brakes. Alright. So the fishtailed a little bit at the end there, so I think that's more of the tire's fault, but there you go. Alright guys, there's your Sohamo H3. So to my dislikes about this bike, I hate the tires. They look kind of cheap and plasticky. The front fork is pretty much going to bottom out on you. There's ghost pedaling there at the higher speeds. It didn't get to 20 miles an hour. I was a little disappointed in that, definitely. What else? Mechanical disc brakes. The brakes are okay. They work fine. They're going to stop you. No major issues there. The display is pretty cheap. It shows a lot of voltage sag, like we're going uphill. So, and then the battery down here is supposed to have a little charge indicator, but there's nothing there. I don't know what happened. So it is a 48 volt, no name cells, I guess, on that thing. I think the best thing about this bike is the frame style. I like that frame style, and the battery size and the motor size. Although the motor doesn't go that fast, so for being a 750 watt, disappointed in that, and the top speed there run. So I think I unlocked it correctly, but who knows. Anyway, check it out at sohamobikes.com. Put a link in the description. And if you need a budget e-bike and you want as much range as possible, that's the reason to get this one. 20 amp hour, $9.99. If you only got $7.99, get the 15 amp hour, and you can play with it on the streets there. So thanks for watching, guys. Catch you on the next Crisscrossed. See ya.